Hey there, how are you doing? This is along the same vein as the last video that I posted, kind of about politics in the job market and things of that nature. I'm just sitting here waiting for my computer to update so I can do a different video. So I'm just kind of doing this while I'm sitting here waiting. Having this computer here really helps you develop patience, like the patience of Job, my goodness. But anyway, back to politics. Trump, he wants to take over the Postal Service, and that has been, discussed quite a bit over the years, even, probably even before the first Trump administration. So Trump wants to take it over, and it sounds like he wants it to be privatized. Okay, well, I don't think that privatizing government services is really ever a good idea, but this is why I think it would be really bad for Black Americans. The Postal Service is a very large employer that employs a lot of Black people, and a lot of Black people have had careers with the Postal Service, made a respectable income, bought homes, raised families, retired, etc. It's a pretty good opportunity, and it really has been a good opportunity for a lot of people, particularly Black people. And now Trump's wanting to take it over and privatize it and probably, fire a lot of people and, make locations fewer and far between, make services less and less. So, I mean, that's just kind of what I speculate and what I'm guessing. I don't think anything good would come from this, from the standpoint of the general public or for people who work for the Postal Service or who would like to. I don't think that it would be a good thing. But again, as I was saying in the video that I made yesterday, it is an entity that employs a lot of Black people, and so the powers that be are wanting to scale back on it. I don't know, that just really seems to be a pattern, and it's not so much that it's necessarily Black people. I kind of think that it is. It's just that I feel like the private sector serves Caucasians a little bit better because that's all very much based on who you know and who likes you and who thinks you're cute and stuff like that. And that immediately just shuts out a lot of Black people. But, there's always been these other entities where you could seek employment and probably do pretty darn well for yourself. Now, next issue. And well, this isn't exactly next issue, but specifically I'm talking about aviation and the way Trump fired a bunch of people in the FAA. Well, as soon as he did that, we started having all these plane crashes, which have always been very rare in the US. As far as commercial air flights, it almost never happens. I thought about the last time I remember a commercial airplane crashing in the United States. The last time I remembered was 9/11, and then before that, it was the plane that crashed near Detroit, and that little girl, Cecilia Sheehan, was on the plane. That was, I believe, in the 80s. I did a little bit of research, and there have been some other plane crashes, some commercial, some were cargo jets, but nonetheless, I mean, it's a very rare occurrence in this country. And in the last few weeks, there have been several aviation accidents. So, air travel undoubtedly will be affected by these changes that Trump has made and all of these accidents. Now, again, when you talk about and think about unemployment, when I fly places, I don't travel a lot, but I like to travel. And, when I fly different places, I've noticed that a lot of the people who work, like at airports, it's a lot of minorities. It's a lot of African Americans, the gate agents, flight attendants, um, people out on the tarmac and such, particularly, I would say Southwest, or maybe that's just me saying that because I fly them quite a bit. But they have announced layoffs. The layoffs are all on the corporate level. That's not to say that there are not, you know, a lot of minorities in those positions, but a lot of them are being laid off. And there's another entity that is going to be kind of making decisions for Southwest. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next with that airline and aviation in general. Because again, when I travel, in most of these cities that I go to, you see a lot of black people working at airports. So we will see what happens. Um, Again, I kind of wonder if a lot of the employers that employ a lot of minorities, a lot of women, are kind of being targeted to slim down, um, just out of discrimination and just wanting people to suffer. But nonetheless, it is very worth it to pay attention to what's going on. It's worth it to pay attention to politics and understand where you fit into this. Most people, I think, probably already do, but just kind of important to understand how you fit into this, where you fit into this, and know where your bread is buttered. So, yeah, that is pretty much what I had to say. The post office, again, another entity that employs a lot of black people, and it's Trump has his eye on it. He's probably going to slim that down, fire a bunch of people. Black unemployment's going to go up. Probably like homelessness, divorces, and all other kinds of things. Um, the airline industry, I personally see a lot of black people working in that field. Again, that probably will be affected by this administration in a very negative way. Oh, and by the way, a lot of these are, again, union, which has done a lot to try to, I will say, build and establish a black middle class, or at least, give a lot of African Americans some pretty solid job opportunities. And they are being just kind of attacked. So pay attention. Let's see. And I just also kind of wanted to point out anytime that black people start to do anything, all of a sudden now it ain't nothing. Now it's not a big deal. Like, for instance, going to college, that used to just be like, thought of as this huge achievement, which I still think that it is, frankly. But now people just kind of look down on it as useless and worthless and, waste of time and waste of money. And it's like, well, what happened? I mean, that used to really distinguish a person, and that used to really, set a person apart, and it was thought of as an achievement. And it is, but now, too many women, too many minorities, too many black people have done that. So now it ain't nothing. And I look at some of these people in the military that are being fired, and it's like, yeah, being a 4-star general, like, that ain't nothing. Or being some high ranking guy in the Navy, now that ain't nothing. Now that, somebody black did it. It's just wild. It's just crazy. A lot of the things going on in this country right now. So yeah, just pay attention. And there's a lot of nonsense, a lot of like black content on YouTube, and it's all about colorism and hair texture and desirability. And you know what, I mean, those are conversations to be had. I think that they're probably talked about a little bit too much, but people really need to focus on whether they'll be able to go to the grocery store or not, or get an apartment, or have reliable transportation, etc. pay attention to the world that we're living in and the decisions that people want to be made so you can live. Even if you have, a somewhat good job now, even if you are pretty comfortable, just think, okay, well, what if that falls by the wayside? How hard will it be to find a different job? Like, I mean, you need to be able to live. Like, the amount of time and energy that people focus in on, like, things like hair texture and desirability, is pretty ridiculous and outrageous. So I think now I may have covered this topic for now. I mean, there's always something new every day, especially with Donnie in office. So, yeah, just day by day, and just pay attention, and consider your life and your variables, and make choices based on what is best for you and those around you. And be very cautious, I feel, about all of these YouTubers that are very pro going no contact with family and such. Family is a resource, friendships are a resource, and that is not to say, use people or be a freeloader. I mean, it's a two-way street. I'm saying that you may need to work together with, people that you know very, very well in the future. And just because I just frankly feel like there's a lot that is working against Black American people in America right now. It's probably deliberate, but even if it's not, that doesn't really matter. So, yeah, just pay attention and just be concerned with your life circumstances and your opportunity to have a livelihood. So, anyway, that is all that I had to say. Don't fall for this whole like okey doke. Oh, and another thing about this DEI, I am obviously Black and I am female. How come I've never found any of these DEI jobs? I've never found them. Are there any left? I would take one. And, one of these high ranking military guys that's getting fired, that just got fired recently, they showed an old video of him. He was appointed by Trump, actually. He's in the Navy. There's an old video of him, and he was saying something like, well, I don't want to be judged by race. I want to be judged by my, qualifications and achievements. Now, for a person of his stature and his background, it was almost insulting for him to even be questioned like that and for him to even give an answer. I mean, this dude is like some 4-star general or something in the Navy. Pardon me if I got that wrong. I don't know if there are generals in the Navy, but he's a bad what, and for him to even answer that question, I just thought it was a little bit degrading, and I wish he had answered it differently. But I'm just sitting here like, even if someone did consider, it would be a great thing for a Black man to have that position. Why is that his fault? And why would that be, why would that diminish what he has accomplished at all? I have listened to various people who are supposedly experts as far as career advice. I've seen them in the media. When I was in college, I listened to like the career advisors and stuff like that. And they would say things like, network. And they would say, well, every time I've ever gotten a job, it was because I've known the right person. I've had more than one person say that to me. They don't feel bad about it. Why should they be ashamed about it? But someone else is supposed to be ashamed of something like affirmative action or DEI or something like that. It's a real just head game, and people just need to be smarter and tougher about it. So, again, if there are any great like DEI jobs left, I mean, hey, here, I'll take it. And yeah, I wouldn't do anything beyond me. That's the other thing. I know for me, I have never applied for a job that I didn't really think that I could realistically manage. So, why did they just really think that people are just getting jobs that they're completely unqualified for? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. It's just this weird fantasy that people have going on in their minds. But anyway, let me go ahead and end this and have a great day. Bye.